precious heart. Thank you for joining us for our weekly vlog. Step by step, humanity, the elemental kingdom, and Mother Earth are being prepared at a cellular level to safely receive the frequency of light our Father, Mother, God, and the company of heaven will bathe the Earth with during the planetary reboot that will occur October 17th through the 22nd, 2020. This event will be co-created through the unified efforts of heaven and earth. Since the birth of this new decade, there have been monumental changes, including a greatly accelerated purging process and a forced timeout that have affected the masses of humanity in both wondrous and extremely challenging ways. What the company of heaven wants us to clearly understand is that whether we are consciously aware of it or not, this facet of Earth's ascension process is something we have been preparing to accomplish for lifetimes. The changes we have been experiencing have created the space for a quantum shift within the energy, vibration, and consciousness of every person on Earth. According to the company of heaven, this shift will affect every particle and wave of life on Earth in a very positive way. Over the past 2 years, new consciousness codes have been activated within the DNA of the millennials and the children. This has allowed the I Am presence of each of these precious souls to begin intuitively communicating in far more tangible ways the sacred knowledge that contains the viable solutions for the maladies existing on Earth. Once that was accomplished, the way was cleared for the company of heaven to volunteer their assistance in previously unknown ways. The divine intervention was designed to help humanity transcend our limitations from the past. The first step of this monumental assistance involved working with the I Am presence of every person to reactivate our 12 strands of DNA. The original 12 strands of humanity's DNA became dormant eons ago when we fell into the abyss of separation and duality and lost awareness of our I Am presence. During that fateful time, our crown chakra of enlightenment closed. This caused us to lose Christ consciousness, which is the enlightened state of consciousness our Father, Mother, God invested us with when we were first breathed forth from the core of creation. The divine purpose of our 12 strands of DNA was to keep the sons and daughters of God consciously connected to our I Am presence and the realms of illumined truth during our earthly sojourns. Originally, our 12 strands of DNA functioned like a very elaborate fiber optic communication system. This system allowed us to easily communicate intuitively with our I Am presence and the company of heaven. When our crown chakra closed and we lost awareness of our I Am presence, we developed a fragmented and fear-based human ego. That distorted aspect of our fallen consciousness descended into such chaotic frequencies of discord that our 12 strands of DNA short-circuited into the double helix DNA that science is now researching. Even with all that our scientists have discovered about our DNA and the genome in the double helix DNA they have access to, some still profess that 98% of our DNA is junk DNA. Of course, there is no such thing as junk DNA. There is only DNA that our scientists have not been able to identify or categorize with their current methods because that DNA is dormant. For decades, scientists believed that our DNA was stagnant and fixed in a particular pattern. Now we know that our DNA is a shimmering waveform configuration that is being modified by a greatly amplified influx of our Father Mother God's light. Our DNA is also being modified by waves of solar radiation, magnetic fields, and sonic impulses, as well as thought forms and emotions that are associated with the shifts of energy, vibration, and consciousness taking place within the hearts and minds of awakening humanity. After the activation of the consciousness codes within the millennials and the children, and the reactivation of the 12 strands of DNA within the masses of humanity, the company of heaven and the I Am presence of every person was able to successfully activate humanity's 12 fifth-dimensional crystalline solar strands of DNA. This took place during the powerful alignment and influx of light that occurred during the 33rd Annual World Congress on Illumination, which was also the 32nd anniversary of harmonic convergence. After that activation, the company of heaven said that humanity's I Am presence was able to heal the wounds created by our fall from grace. Those wounds were referred to by the beings of light as enslavement codes. Our fragmented and fear-based human egos had used those mutated genetic codes for eons of time to manipulate and control us after we fell into our self-inflicted abyss of separation and duality. With the healing of the wounds from humanity's enslavement codes, humanity en masse reached a critical frequency of vibration that created an unstoppable shift of consciousness. This shift did not occur outside of us. This was a very cellular-based transfiguration that is now occurring within the core of purity in every electron of our earthly bodies. This information is being reiterated now so that we will all be more consciously aware of the monumental assistance we are receiving from on high as we pass through the various steps of preparation for our planetary reboot. This week, we are all being asked by our Father, Mother God to contemplate the multi-dimensional opportunity that is being presented to each of us to actually be the hands of God on earth for this essential facet of Earth's ascension process. Every day, go within to the divinity of your heart flame. In a state of listening grace, allow your I Am presence to support and encourage you during this wondrous and simultaneously confusing time. Here is an affirmation that may help you to stay focused on your facet of this divine mission. I am the hands of God. I have come to set right the vibratory action of all energy and substance in my world and in all of the world. I am the sacred hands of God moving through this earth. I am instantly reestablishing divinity wherever the light of God is applied. I invite, invoke, focus, concentrate, manifest, and sustain the light of God on earth with every breath I take. I am a director of God's light. I am humble before its magnificent presence. I am grateful to unleash God's power on earth. I am the light of God flowing through my heart flame, loving all life free. And so it is, beloved, I am that I am. Dear ones, stay centered in your heart flame and focus on the wondrous being revealed to you through your intuitive inner knowing. This is our new beginning. If you have the heart call to participate in the free 34th Annual World Congress on Illumination online virtual event, you can register on our website, eraofpeace.org. God bless you. I look forward to being with you next week.